Flashback. Flashback. Welcome to my Crazy World comedy show, covering mid-November 2023. This is an unusual video. It's not just about one thing. I'm throwing everything in here. This is another one of those weird videos where unrelated things all connect together in the end. We're living in stormy times, and tonight there's a shower of piss coming. I guess the video is about me and my great commentary in the crazy world that I have been seeing. So I'm going to throw in a little diet stuff, veganism, feminism, and other politics, and MAGA. Because yes, it is still with us, and still crazy after all these years. In fact, crazier with old age.
We try to cover as much of it as humanly possible. And of course, mixing it all together with my genius-level comedy, a video that would go viral if it was ever put on a big channel. So you people are going to be one of the few lucky people who happen to be watching this because of some fluke in the algorithm, maybe.
Are you actually saying Ross was wrong by correcting Rachel for saying you're instead of your, and it's racist? What on earth is going on over in America?
This video is just plain stupid. The whole thing.
Fat phobia, misogyny, homophobia, etc. No, it's comedy.
What in the woke world is this?
Shaming people publicly would correct a lot of problems in our society.
I've got an update on my recent videos on David Pakman, who was challenged to debate a vegan. First thing is that those videos did really well for my channel. One reason might be that I guess no one else was doing what I was doing. No one's made a response video to this situation. And the other reason is these extra viewers made it clear that my videos got into people's recommendations because they watched David Pakman. And they didn't like that fact. I had an ongoing discussion with one of those people, the cadaver. Here's one post. For someone with a genius-level IQ, you're pretty bad at basic reading comprehension. I wrote a book, dude. I don't watch YouTube clout chasers or response videos. Well, number one, if you are against watching response videos, you're going to be cutting yourself off from information which can help you understand things. Number two, he's calling me a clout chaser just because I made a response video? And first off, point 2, section A, why does he assume clout? I'm chasing views here. And point 2, section B, what is wrong with trying to get views? He seems to be using a straw man here to hide from any information that my video has that he might not want to hear about. Oh, I think I found the real problem with these commenters. Just like maybe the problem with David Pakman saying crazy stuff to avoid the hard truth about veganism. Flashback.
I got a voicemail asking for me to debate a vegan. And overwhelmingly, people have said agricultural emissions are about 11% of American emissions. And of course, there is no doubt that factory animal farming is a large portion of that. If we replace all of those products, what are they replaced with to meet certain caloric needs? It ends up being a very small number of things that can do it, which generates monocultures. That's very bad for the environment.
4 days ago is the next episode in this series. Caller unleashes anti-vegan attack. Yeah, right. He's exaggerating again. Oh, by the way, it happens to be time for another meal. I got some dates that are warmed up. Yeah, in the winter, in the cold season, warm up your fruit. Much better.
I thought of another comment after a bit with people who go for a vegan or vegetarian diet.
Mm-hmm.
They're not helping the planet much, I don't think, because
She sounds fat. Anyway, the post goes on. I do not know why the algorithm insists I watch your video. I think this was the person who was doing chores around his house, and he had on autoplay. I explained to him that he should be using playlists for what he was trying to do. Watch only videos he wanted to see. You got to choose those. Isn't it ridiculous? This guy watches David Pakman, but he refuses to watch anyone with a response to him. And at the end, he says something that's pretty funny, pretty ignorant. Maybe if I manually leave comments complaining about it, I suppose he means on my channel, he posted a whole bunch, then the platform, YouTube, will actually listen to my feedback. But when he posts comments to my channel, he's only telling the algorithm that he has some kind of interest in my video. They're not going to know what kind of interest that actually is. All YouTube's algorithms see is the engagement. And they say, well, let's give this guy more of what he's engaging with. That's how YouTube actually works. A lot of people still don't know that. So I responded to him. I said, it was just a recommendation from the YouTube algorithm. It guesses what you want to see. It can't be perfect. Maybe what you're wanting is a playlist where you can pick the videos. May I suggest a politically related video uploaded today by me about the epidemic of whining due to mind pollution? And speaking of which, let's talk about that video. Some of my vegan subscribers may not have seen this video, so let me give you a quick advertisement to ignite your interest.
We try to cover as much of it as humanly possible.
And Hollywood just brainwash men into thinking that being romantic...
Because it makes us live in delusions.
And you got 100+ men telling you here that they prefer women to have lower body counts.
All of them are delusional. I don't care about what they think.
Tending to have a lot of inner hostility.
You stupid fucking cunt.
Very attention-seeking.
So I've cut out banana. I'm like...
Instability in their emotions.
TikTok should be banned because they are poisoning American minds.
Society, which is now so pro-female, they've made it a bad thing to give any consequences to girls. And girls hear all these things circulating, like believe all women and don't mansplain. So this conditions girls and young women to think anything they do is okay. Feminism has conditioned women to hate many things about men, and even to hate femininity, because we see some women acting tougher, using bad language as the norm, lowering their voices, and sometimes shaving their heads. They've been given this notion that history is all bad and all wrong, and so everything has to be reversed. Everyone should be working to be better, to improve themselves. And society's always pushed men to do that. And guess what? Men have improved themselves, as women have not improved themselves, because society isn't pushing for that. As a matter of fact, feminism, this third wave stuff, has gotten all that pressure off of women. It's taken off. You cannot criticize women. You can't say this and that. You can't call them this. You can't criticize like the way they dress.
What's wrong with that?
Shame back, is that what you're saying?
Bring shame back for sure. Like, we shamed cigarettes for years. You should do the same things to sex workers because they're destroying society.
The problem is that men are shamed for wanting good things for themselves, but women can say whatever and still get applauded.
Women say the men are treating them like objects. Well, maybe some men see some women as objects, especially sex objects, because those women are presenting themselves that way. This goes far beyond what...
The older single women I know are bitter. It's like feminism contaminated the whole pool of women. This is an enormous social change.
They want me to tell you to go out and sign up. We have a book here, beautiful book. Look at this book, how beautiful that is, see? You read pictures, you sign up, and you...
It's a beautiful book. You can read pictures in it. Oh my effing God. People actually voted for this guy not once, but twice, and plan to vote for him a third time.
In my feminism video, I was trying to give the listener an idea of the mindset of these radical feminists. And so I put it into my own words, and I said something like, they have this exaggerated view of the past, as if women were slaves of men. So for those of you who saw that and thought I was exaggerating, I have a clip for you that I found just today, and I think this is the first time I actually heard a woman say this. Information about the conditions for women and what's going on in society, and this information is often exaggerated and spread a lot. This especially happens through social media. And then on social media, young women and girls, like on TikTok, they hear this misinformation, twisting history to make it seem like women were the slaves of men, and also they get a false idea of what's going on today.
Would you agree that sex is something that's shared between two people?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Why do men have to pay a higher price in order to have access to a shared activity?
And why are you blinking so much? Y'all see that bitch blink? No offense, lady.
Because we got to take the time to get ready, and we got to know our value on that.
What do you mean? Because there's also women that have to pay a lot more money on lots of things in generic.
Well, I'm saying, like, typically it's expected, like, guys have to kind of, like, approach women, pay for dates. They have to, like, you know, just kind of, like, court women and treat them and buy them dinner.
Because originally, in olden times, they owned us.
And here's another clip of my video and another follow-up that I found in this video today. I've even seen posts by some women who think it's okay to use men and lie and, quote, hashtag waste his time 2019 to get what they want. So it's November 24, the day I'm making this video, and I just found this woman here admitting that women are in control of men, especially in relationships, dating. And how does she feel about knowing that fact that in these romantic relationships there is an unfair inequality? Is there anyone out there fighting that?
And we want to be taken care of, so you kind of just have to get with it or get lost.
Okay, so wouldn't that mean that women basically dictate the rules?
I think that women do dictate the rules at the bottom line of it all.
Okay, I want to stop there and point out the fact that she chose to use the word dictate as in dictator. We've been hearing a lot of people on the left, which are mostly women, and most black people are on the left. They've been criticizing the idea of a dictator, referring to someone who's running for president.
Every man, for the most part, is going to want that release. So,
okay, she makes a correct point here, basically saying men want to have sex. Now, that's true. That's a half-truth. Women do too, along a spectrum, varying degrees, and she doesn't take that into account. Also, I want to point out another interesting choice of words she uses here. She didn't say men are going to want sex. She said men are going to want the release. Now, 3 points to make here. Yes, 3 points I got on this word. First of all, she's ignoring the fact that there are many ways to get release. Number 2, she's ignoring that there's men that are known as monks. And number 3, yeah, there's four people. I just thought of another one. Number 3 is she's ignoring the fact that cable television sells dildos all night long. Have you seen that infomercial? Number 4, when she's thinking about men and their motivation for sex, she chooses the word release. That's not very romantic.
A lot of these women in a relationship, they fall out of love real quick because when they got into the relationship, it was never about love. It was about what you could do, what I can get out of you.
Not very sociable and mutual. We men get release all the time. I always remember that line on Third Rock from the Sun. We make do. But when men are having sex, it's not about release. It's about the fact there's another person there. The connection. It's so weird to hear a woman. And I will wrap up my feminism segment here with this small clip I found a few days ago in a video about handling stress and anxiety, which I have.
So at one point, if you looked at data, like I always want to get the study right, but I remember I saw a shocking statistic years ago that it was something like 1/4 of women of childbearing age were taking an antidepressant.
Whoa.
And so you see.
Yes, in this day and age with unprecedented opportunity and freedom, U.S. women are more depressed than ever. So watch that video for the full explanation of why, and then share that video. I put like 12 hours into it. Not for fun, but to help the world. And it only helps the world if it gets out to the world.
We try to cover as much of it as humanly possible.
Trump's out there saying things like this in a high school gymnasium.
He was with 4 hookers. You think that was good that night to go up and tell my wife, it's not true, darling, I love you very much? It's not true. Actually, that one she didn't believe because she said he's a germaphobe. He's not into that, you know?
I know people sometimes get sick of it, but we have to. And I've said repeatedly, we have to. Because we cannot let it slide. We cannot become desensitized to it. And that's what these extremism experts are warning us is happening.
He's not into golden showers, as they say they call them. He's not. No, I didn't. I thought that would be a big problem. I was going to have a rough night, but that one she was very good on. She said, no.
You know what type of message this sends to our children? They are watching this.
Look at those hands. Are they small?
Average size hands are no indicator.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter.
You tell them, Daddy, you got that big Trump dick.
I guess there is no depths to depravity because Donald Trump.
So I have a choice of electrocution or shock. You know what I'm going to take?
Hey, so do you want to play? Hey, so do you want to play? Sure, I love the shoe pool. That's not what we're talking about.
I will take electrocution every single time. Do we agree? Yeah, I will take electrocution.
It happens to be time for another meal. Yeah, in the winter, in the cold season, warm up your fruit. It's time for a flashback, going back 5 years. Now, last week, Ivanka Trump testified in that tax fraud trial, and in the coverage, someone mentioned that she hasn't been charged with a crime, she's just a witness.
And Sean Hannity asked him about the special counsel's investigators possibly interviewing Ivanka Trump or Jared Kushner. Let's listen to this.
If they do Ivanka, which I doubt they will, the whole country will turn on him. They're going after his daughter.
What about his son-in-law? They talked about him.
I guess Jared is a fine man, you know that. But men are, disposable. But a fine woman like Ivanka, come on.
G-Rob.
We got to pause right there. I got a couple things to say. Just about nobody knows what he's talking about, or they might be pretending not to know if they're on the left here, because it goes against their narrative. And at this point, I got to say, I lean to the left. I've made recent videos attacking Giuliani.
He'll confess to 3 felonies before the first bathroom break.
What does he mean? Ivanka has a White House position. She's an advisor to the president.
See, there you go. She said, she had just admitted she doesn't know what he meant. But listen to this.
Ivanka has a White House position. She's an advisor to the president. And what is this business about? She's a woman. She can't be questioned.
She doesn't understand what he was getting at. She can be questioned, but they won't do it. He said the whole country would turn on him. That's the key phrase here.
She's an advisor to the president, and that is the most sexist thing I've heard in recent times. I'm outraged.
Wow. Fake outrage from a feminist. No, well, she could be outraged, but she's completely misguided. It's misguided outrage based on an assumption that he said something to her. No. Rudy was talking for the country as a whole and how they would view it if they went after Ivanka. It's pretty simple. So it was not Rudy that was being sexist. It was the whole country is sexist for women. And she sure looks outraged, right?
Outraged.
Human beings, for the most part, see men as disposable. That we don't care much about them. We care about women. And yes, that is sexist. 5 years later, here we are in a different case. Out of all the members of the Trump family, the people who were indicted were Donald Trump, Don Jr., and Eric. Ivanka took 5 years for them to bring her in for questioning, but still no charges. People, all the men in the family were charged. None of the women. All the men. None of the women. It is not a coincidence. But no one wants to look at that. So that was about 18 minutes of craziness. And guess what? I still had plenty more to go, but the video was getting long, so I'm going to have another part for you. So subscribe if you want to be notified of that. I'd like to hear what you think about this video. Post a comment, and you'll be hearing from me soon.